Now let's modify our program from the last episode a little bit. Now we're just using white color for our points. How could I have a different color on the top and on the bottom? How could I make that it's maybe becoming red on the top and it's changing the color to blue or green or something near the bottom? Okay, for that I will use the color mode HSP because it's easier to just change the hue like we have done before, and we will leave the saturation and the brightness at a fixed amount. And now, instead of just setting here one time the stroke color, I'm gonna remove this, and I will want to set the color right before I draw my pixel, before calling point, so I can set a different one here each time. We have always used this color mode HSP like this, and I'm gonna introduce here a new parameter you can add behind. It's just a number. And this way I'm telling processing that I want to set my color values using numbers between 0 and 100. So this will mean that if I enter 100 for any of these values, for hue, for saturation or brightness, I mean maximum. And when I enter a 0 is the minimum. I think for us, for people, it's easier to work with the value 100 than using 255. So now I'm gonna use here, I could use first to begin random 100. Remember, now we don't use 255 anymore because we are telling here 100. And I would type here 100, 100, just to see a lot of colorful points here. But I don't want it to be random. I want it to depend on the distance from the top. So here I will have to enter something related to y, but not exactly y, because y is giving me numbers between 50 and 250. So I'm gonna enter here a variable. I'm gonna call it co, like from color, and then I have to declare this before. I will say float co equals something. I could use the values coming out from here, from this map, blah, 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 but the range is not the right one. So I can again use map to fix this. I say map, I take the y value. The y value can have values between 50 and 250 because that's exactly what I told processing here. And I want to convert these values to numbers between 0 and 100 because these are the allowed color values for stroke or any other color function. I have said here that 100 is the maximum, so let's see how this works. And this is what I wanted. Now I'm having certain color at the bottom and it changes depending on the distance. The closer they are to the top, it looks like they become red and all this beautiful gradient. So I repeat here what's happening. I'm declaring a variable. I'm using map to convert this number, which is the y, that's the position where we're gonna draw our pixel. And I want to convert this number that can have these values between 50 and 250 into this new range. Now I want values only between 0 and 100. I could do the same with the width of the line. So I could call here stroke weight. And I have to enter here some value. I'm gonna, well, you know that if I just enter like 5, then we will have bigger dots. But what if I want the dot size to depend on also the distance from the top? So I will declare here another variable, stroke weight. I'm gonna call this like width, or set like size. And I'm gonna type here float set equals, and again the same thing, a map is gonna depend on the y value, which can have values between 50 and 250. But now, what kind of values do I want for stroke? So I would say something between 1 and I don't know, 30. Let's see how that looks like. Wow, that's nice. But what if I want the big ones to be on the top and the small ones on the bottom? I could reverse this. I could say, give me numbers between 30 and 1. Then I'm reversing the sizes. Now, the closer to the top they are, the larger, and well, and we get this nice scale of colors. And then we can just try playing with these values here and to change the shape. Wow, that's interesting pattern. The dots are so big that it's hard to see what's actually happening. I'm gonna type here a 10. And I think this rate is too fast to recognize the shape. So now it's going a bit slower and it's easier to see. So we've seen here how we can use map for other purposes. Like here is just we are adapting the values, like the Y values, which have this kind of range, which is okay for Y values, but it's not okay for maybe colors or for sizes or the width of a line. So we just convert this from one range of numbers to a new range. This range is valid for colors, the 0, 100. And this range, the 10 to 1, is fine for the width of the line.